No one is perfect, and there is no sure way of becoming an ideal parent. As parents, we should get involved with the lives of our kids so that we know what is going on, especially in school. We should always get closer to our children so that we can help them whenever there is a need. Parents need to know that even if the children belongs to them, they are their person. Therefore, we should not impose our views on them. Instead, guide them and not insisting too much on certain things. Stephen Wilson, Gray Peterson, and Susan, editors of Parents, Youth Relations, Cultural, and Cross-Cultural Perspectives, said, as children grow old, there seems to be more cultural and language barrier between them and their parents. Their parents get a hard time as they struggle to have a simple conversation. Parents should therefore find an appropriate style that works best with their children to avoid our future problems. There are different parenting styles that some parents can use to create a good environment in their homes and also a good relationship that will nurture the ability of their children. They also say that these techniques differ from one another depending on the structure of the family. How many of you have kids here? I have one. I don't know.
I have one too.
Okay, that's nice. Today, I want to introduce to you the authoritative parenting style. A style that I know it will help you communicate better with your children and also the benefits and impact it will have on your children as well. But before I tell you more about the authoritative style, Dinah Blumeride, who was a clinical and developmental psychologist, came up with 4 different types of parenting style, including the authoritative that I want you parents to use. One is the authoritarian parenting style. Parents use this style to address their children in a way that kids don't have a say in the family. They are very unresponsive, they have strict rules, high expectation, and they expect blind obedience. Kids who grow up under this style end up having lower academic performance, lower self-esteem, poor social skills, and sometimes mental and alcohol abuse. We don't want that for our kids. We also have the permissive parenting style. Parents who use this style are very warm and responsive, but they have fewer or no rules. They are indulgent and lenient. Kids end up with impulsive behavior, egocentric, poor social skills, and sometimes problematic relationships. We also have the neglectful or uninvolved parenting style. With this style, parents are very cold and unresponsive. They have no rules at all in the family, and they are uninvolved with their kids. You can imagine what will happen if you don't get involved with your children. Kids who also grow up under this style ends up with impulsive behavior, drug or alcohol abuse, and sometimes suicide. Now the authoritative parenting style. Parents are warm and very responsive. They have clear rules in the house, high expectations, very supportive, and they value independence. Many families consider the authoritative as the best parenting style that parents can use to create a positive relationship with their children. When parents use this style, they will expect high standards from their children. You can also call it as democratic. It is also acknowledged as the most effective parenting style according to Dinah Blumeride. Parents should employ this kind of approach to help create an environment that will nurture their children and also prepare them on how to handle complex situations in the future. Some researchers also found more about the authoritative parenting style. We have Louis Leachman, a PhD in psychology and the author of A Practical Guide for Raising a Self-Directed and Caring, an alternative to the Tiger Mother parenting style, also said, parents always expect the best outcome out of their children. An authoritative style that produces the best results in kids. Parents using this particular style tends to be reasonable. They respond quickly to their children's emotional needs. They also say that authoritative parents are always ready to support their children and give them the necessary resources they need to succeed in life. Children under this style grow up with high self-esteem and they develop excellent social skills. We also have Christy Crosby Bergen and David Allen Bergen, authors of Child and adolescent development in your classroom came up with children develop independence and reasoning. No one stays forever, and thus we need to pass on our knowledge and skills to the next children through our children. We should teach our children how to deal with difficult situations in life. We should allow them to act independently and get to help them in case they face challenges. Allowing them to work independently teaches them that they are capable of solving situations on their own, and also help them with strong self-esteem as well as self-confidence. We also have Susie Heyman and John Coleman, authors of Parent and Digital Technology, How to Raise the Connected Generation, also said, authoritative parents give their children rewards to motivate them and teach them new skills in life. They ensure equality in freedom and responsibility. They help their children learn to be responsible in life and set them up for success. For instance, if children forget to pack their stuff for school, an authoritative parent prepares a checklist before they go out. They make sure that the kids run through the checklist to ensure that they do not forget anything in the bag. In the words of my professor, Dr. C, always prepare a checklist so you don't forget anything. Before I conclude, I want us to watch a video from Dr. Michael Rich. He is the director of Harvard Center on Media and Child Health.
I think that your child's use of the internet and media is a good place to really examine your parenting style. What we've found time and again is that the most effective parenting style for virtually any issue is what we call authoritative parenting. Authoritative parenting means that you are aware of your child and connected with your child, but you also set very clear limits and expectations on your child. Authoritarian parenting, as opposed to authoritative parenting, is parenting that sets very clear limits, but is not in touch with the child. So that you have very strict rules, but you're not hearing your child, you're not engaging in dialogue, and you're not sensitive to his or her needs. Then you have the permissive parenting, which is being very in touch with your child and having no expectations or limitations for them, sort of whatever goes, goes. And then there's apathetic or disconnected child raising, which is not being in touch with your child and not having any expectations for him or her, which is perhaps the most tragic sort of parenting at all. So I think that as you go at thinking about the way your child is going to be introduced to the internet, the way your child's going to use the internet, the way they use any media, is to try to be authoritative. So the real goal with introducing the internet or your child's use of the internet or of any media, in fact of all parenting, is to listen to them, know what you're talking about, live what you're talking about, model responsible internet and media use behaviors, and set clear expectations and limitations, as well as clear consequences should those expectations be not met in one way or another. But be very clear, very open, and very communicative with your kids, and they will do the same with you.
Now that we have heard from Dr. Michael Rich, I will conclude by saying one is to mistakes, and we all learn from the mistakes that we commit. Parents, we should not use heavy punishment on our children. That will cause damage to their body system, like how the authoritarian parents do. Rather, let us maintain a healthy relationship with them, if only we expect a better outcome and a better future for our children. There are challenges in life that we might give other things more time than our children. We should learn to balance them because those children are the future leaders of the nation. We should nurture our children in a way that they will appreciate us later. Thank you very much for listening. My name is